Why do we exist? Why does life feel both beautiful and broken? Why do we long for something more than what we have? These aren't new questions. They're the same ones humanity has been asking for thousands of years. And there's one ancient book that dares to answer them all. This is the story of Genesis, not just the beginning of everything, but the blueprint for understanding why we are the way we are. In the beginning, there was nothing. Then, with words alone, God spoke light into darkness, order into chaos, beauty into emptiness. He crafted mountains and oceans, stars and planets, every living creature. But the masterpiece? Humanity. Made in his own image, given dominion over creation, placed in a perfect garden where every need was met, every relationship was pure, every moment was joy. But perfection wasn't enough. The first humans wanted more, to be like God himself. In one devastating choice, they traded paradise for knowledge, innocence for shame, eternal life for death. Suddenly, work became toil, relationships became conflict, and every human heart carried the weight of knowing something was terribly wrong. The world spiraled into violence and corruption until God decided to start over. He found one righteous man, Noah, and saved humanity through the most catastrophic flood in history. But even after the waters receded, the human heart remained unchanged. The problem wasn't the world around us, it was the world within us. So God chose a different approach. He called one man, Abraham, to leave everything familiar and follow him into the unknown. God promised to make Abraham's descendants into a great nation, to bless the entire world through his family. Abraham believed, and his faith became the foundation for everything that followed. Generations later, that promise seemed impossible. Abraham's great-grandson Joseph was sold into slavery by his own brothers, thrown into prison for a crime he didn't commit. But God was writing a larger story. Joseph's suffering became the key to saving not just his family, but entire nations from famine. What his brothers meant for evil, God used for good. Here's what makes Genesis so powerful today. It explains why life feels the way it does. Why we create beautiful things but also destroy them. Why we long for perfect love but struggle in our relationships. Why we achieve success but still feel empty. Why we hurt the people we care about most. Genesis says we're not broken by accident. We're broken by design, carrying both the image of God and the weight of rebellion. But Genesis doesn't end in despair. It ends with hope. Every story points to the same truth. God doesn't abandon his creation. He pursues it. He makes promises and keeps them. He takes our worst moments and weaves them into his greatest purposes. The God who spoke light into darkness is still speaking hope into our chaos, purpose into our pain, and meaning into our mess. Your story isn't separate from this ancient narrative. It's part of it. The same God who called Abraham is calling you. The same God who was with Joseph in prison is with you in your struggles. The same God who promised to bless all nations through one family is still blessing the world through ordinary people who choose to trust him. Genesis isn't just the beginning of everything. It's the beginning of your understanding of why you matter, why you're here, and why your story has eternal significance.